I mean, our KTP has only just been awarded, so I can't tell you much about the process of running a KTP, but I can tell you a little bit about the process of kind of bidding for one and getting for one and getting to that point. So ours is with the Yorkshire Peat Partnership, which is part of the Yorkshire Wildlife Trust. So they're an NGO, and an erosion control company, Terrafix, that they work with. And the kind of basis of it is trialing a number of new erosion control techniques. So UK peatlands are terribly badly eroded. There's 10 years of experience of trying to restore them. That's what all of my work is about. It's about the erosion and restoration of peatlands, and we've been working with the organisations, of which Yorkshire Peat Partnership is one of them, who've been actually implementing this work, because that allows us to kind of do field scale experiments on what does it mean, what does it do to the ecosystem when this restoration goes ahead. So, you can only do that work by working with the people that have the restoration funds to start intervening in landscapes at large scale. So we had a kind of ongoing relationship with YPP. They were concerned that some of the work they'd been doing to restore some types of kind of high cold wet peatlands wasn't working very well, and they've started conversations with this company called Terrafix, who do the sort of restoration that you see on new motorway cuts, where they kind of hydro seed, so they spray a kind of gel of grass seed and whatever onto the steep surfaces to get vegetation established very quickly, so that when it rains, all the soil doesn't wash off onto the motorway. And clearly that's another form of erosion control. And so the interesting questions are about whether in hard to treat parts of eroding UK peatlands, some of those techniques might be applicable. So in terms of how we got to here, I mean, these are kind of ongoing conversations that we've been having with YPP for quite a long time. We're always looking for ways to work with them and ways to kind of generate funding. And in fact, it was probably something that Ali sent around at some point that said, there are these things called KTPs and they're quite interesting, that I saw, and had a conversation with Joe and had a conversation with YPP. It's attractive to them because it's the opportunity to do a project with some of the money being kicked in by UKRI. It kind of meshed with the way we tend to work with them anyway, which is sort of as academic consultants on a lot of the projects that they're doing. And it also worked because as an NGO, they're an organisation that's used to perpetually bidding for funding. So the bidding process wasn't initially scaring them off, and also the match funding, again, was something where they felt they could bid for that, in other ways. So we kind of all agreed that this was a good idea and we would go ahead with it. The process, certainly from an academic point of view, is relatively low impact. A lot of that is down to the fantastic support that Joe and the team offer. It's, I think, slightly higher impact for the business in that more of the case is written by them. But again, support from Joe, both in writing chunks of it and in kind of project managing the process of getting us all to write the things at the right time so that the bid could go in, made it really incredibly smooth, so much easier than a normal grant application, I found. And also, one of the things that Joe really importantly did in our case was hold YPP's hand through some tricky moments. I think there were two occasions when they were going to pull out, largely because they felt that because of the way the forms are put together, because it's Innovate UK, it's very commercial, it's very business focused. If you're a kind of wildlife NGO, the language doesn't come easily. And so Joe was able to kind of talk them down on a couple of occasions and say, no, this is what you're doing. If we can develop this new technique and restore peatlands more effectively, then that save lots of money because you don't have to go in and do it again when it's failed, and that's a real economic benefit, and we can write that down. So yeah, I think that's probably all I've got to say. Just to highly recommend, if you have the opportunity, pursue it. The support is brilliant and real in ways that it doesn't always pan out to be. But in the case of the business engagement team and KTP, it is. And yeah, if you're thinking about it, go for it.